Hello everyone, welcome to a new lesson. Now we just finished the 3D layer section and I hope that you enjoyed that part because it's a very cool part of After Effects. And now it's time to put this into a more advanced practice. So everything that we have learned so far, we will put this into practice on these next exercises. So enough talking, let's begin with the first one. And for the first one, we will create a nice animated title, sort of a movie trailer for a fictional movie, of course. And we will use advanced camera skills, layer effects, and many other effects. So first, let's create a new composition. And let's make this composition HDTV. Let's set this to, I don't know, maybe like 50 seconds. We can change that later. And the background color should be black. Alright. Now we have our composition. In this lesson we're going to create first the background or the layout, the first screen that we are going to be working on, and we will create a solid with a ramp with a gradient effect. We will create some text and some other effects to finish what it's going to be the first screen. The idea is to have several screens, and we will go from one screen to another with a nice camera effect using the camera and the null objects. So let's begin by creating a new solid layer. Can make this, I don't know, maybe some dark blue. Anyways, it doesn't matter because we're going to apply an effect to it. Now let's go to the effects and presets here on the window, or if you want, go to this point to effect, and we're going to use the gradient and select this one on generate gradient ramp, or go to effect and go to generate and look for gradient ramp. This is the same gradient that we have on Illustrator and Photoshop, just that this one is called gradient ramp, but other than that it's just the same. First, let's change the ramp shape to a radial ramp. Right now it's on linear ramp. You can see how the shape is. Now select the radial ramp and also make sure that the end of ramp, the start of ramp is on the middle. You can drag this second setting here on the start of ramp. You can drag this here, or you can click here and just select the middle and click here. Now we have to change these colors because this don't work for us. So the end color should be, let's go for a blue, a very dark blue, but like really dark, kinda like this maybe. You can see it's blue, but it's really dark. It's almost black. And for the start color, let's grab again a blue, but of course this one will be lighter. So we will create some nice halo here. It can be like this. It's a dark blue, but not as dark as the end color. Click OK, and you can play with the ramp scatter. If you want to make the gradient ramp bigger. And what we're doing here is, if you take a closer look, you can see how it's like grainy now. If you put this into 50 again, you can see that it's blurring that right now. So let's make this 500 because I want it to be really grainy. Alright, so this is a nice color. I like this gradient. Now let's rename these layers because I like to rename things so that I don't get lost, because we may be having too many layers, and if we don't rename them we will go nuts, completely crazy here. So rename this as background. Alright, and now let's create a new text layer, or just grab your text tool, and now we will write something here on the middle. And the idea is that the trailer or this animated title will begin with something typical from a movie, some cliche like once upon a time in a world, I don't know, dominated by robots or something. Let's begin with once upon a time. But we should change this font to something better. I have a font that can work pretty well here. It's called Bender. I'm going to share this with you, of course. We need to select our text layer and change to Bender. Or you can use any font that you want. You don't have to use the same as I am using. You can use the font that you feel comfortable with. Let's make this bigger, like 140. And let's make this font solid font. Alright, now let's grab our text layer and go to the align window and make sure it is aligned to the middle, horizontally and vertically. Now this looks good on white, but now let's create a duplicate by pressing Ctrl and D, and the bottom one, let's place it a little to the right and a little to the top, and we will change the color from white to a very light blue. Like this one. Can be a little darker. Yeah. Somewhere over here. Yeah. Alright, click OK now. And now grab the top one and go to Effect, go to Stylize and select Glow. We're going to add a little glow here. Let's increase the radius to 35 and the color can be a blue one, like this. And on glow colors, select A and B. Change this color B to another blue, and click OK. So now we have some nice glow. You can play with the radius if you want. I think 35 is perfect. Alright, now on the bottom one is the one that is blue. We're going to get to our effects window and type drop shadow and double click on this effect, drop shadow effect. Increase the distance maybe to 18, and let's change the angle so that it points to the top. Alright, like this. Now let's change the distance a little, and let's increase the softness to 30%. Let's see how it looks. Alright, this is fine. Now grab these two text and double click on them and click on pre-compose. We're going to create a pre-composition. Let's rename this to once upon. Click OK. And now instead of two layers, we have just one layer that is a pre-comp. If we open this, we have our text with all the attributes. But right now, we can use instead of pre-comp. So that's it for the first screen. Now let's go to the next lesson because we're going to create the particles for this animation.